It doesn't matter what may come your way. Your life, our life, is in His hand this morning. It is the third day of the month of November. Good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. To you, wherever you are, it's a wonderful Wednesday morning. It's another great day in God's wonderful creation. I am here, you are here, we are all here together. And indeed, we continue upon that journey to find our divine purpose and become the best versions of ourselves as we continue to make our mark upon this life. Good morning to you. I'm Joseph Cadore, and welcome to Classic in the Morning Time. Good morning to you, those of you here at home, across the region, and in other parts of the diaspora. You're rested, you're up and you're and about, and you're getting ready for another day of productivity. Indeed, 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 indeed. It serves us all good that we're here and we are being gracious. As we do on a regular basis, we kickstart our day with an attempt to expand our vocabulary. Yeah, substitute some of the old words with some new words, expand our conversation and our understanding, our ability, to hold a different conversation, hold it in a different tone. Yeah, so this morning the word of the day is silhouette. Silhouette. And silhouette is a noun. And for the purpose of those who are in television, it is on screen. But to those of you that is on radio, I spell for you. Silhouette is spelled S-I-L-H-O-U-E-T-T-E. Silhouette. Silhouette. S-I-L-H-O-U-E-T-T-E. Silhouette. And silhouette is a noun. Well, it's interesting. It depends on how it is used. It can also be a verb. So it is silhouette. And the silhouette is a likeness cut from dark material and mounted on a light ground or sketch, or it's an outline and solidly colored in. The outline of a body viewed as circumscribing a mass is referred to as silhouette. Now, what are some of the other words that you can use for silhouette? So, to get an appreciation of the word silhouette, so silhouette refers to a contour, a figure, an outline. It's referred to as a silhouette. That's what silhouette is. That's if you're using silhouette as a noun. If you're using silhouette as a verb, other words would be define, again outline, a sketch, or a trace. So the word for today is silhouette, and silhouette is spelled S-I-L-H-O-U-E-T-T-E. The word of the day for today, the third day of November, taken from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is silhouette. And certainly I hope you would find a way that, oh no, I didn't do something for you. Yes, what did I not do? An example of the way of how you can use the word silhouette. The silhouettes of the buildings against the sky. The buildings appeared in silhouette against the sky. The word of the day for today, the 3rd of November, is silhouette. Hoping somehow this one helps to add a little bit of zest and zing to your vocabulary and to your day. So let's move on to the thought of the day. And for the thought of the day, I always try to make it as special, as impressionable as it could be. And this morning, we want to talk about optimism. I'll give you the specific thought of the day. But the thought of the day, I want us to focus on optimism. What does it mean to be optimistic? How do you train yourself to have an optimistic mind? Now, the mind, as you can well aware, functions as a reservoir. We learn how to, and what do? We supply things to this reservoir. Optimism is an attributive style, essentially a way in which we define and we attribute meanings to daily events. Now, when evaluating facts of life, you may have individuals that are exposed to the same scenario, but there's a difference of response. So, positive fact. we got a raise. Right. So we got an increase. So the optimistic profile person would say, you know what? Everything is working out for me. You know what? I got a raise. I can do this. That's optimism. The pessimist says, God, my taxes will even be higher. He's not considering what is it he has. But all he's considering is that my taxes is going to be higher. Optimistic profile. So the negative, so this is taking a positive reality. Now looking at a negative reality. I lost my house keys. That's the fact. I lost my house keys. The optimistic person who says, I never lose anything. You know what? Somebody's probably going to pick it up and deliver it to me. The pessimistic person says, I always forget everything. I am so distracted. In life, we all exposed to the same stimulus, or maybe the same stimuli, depending on what it is. It's plural, singular. We are exposed to them in different ways and format. But the question is our attitude towards it. One says, my glass is half empty. That's the pessimist. And maybe that's the truth. But the optimist says it is half full. Different perception on life. So we need to start asking ourselves, starting with your speech, eliminate negative thoughts such as, I can't, I always give up, and inserting these negative adjectives. For example, you may have found yourself saying today, I am lazy. A better way to frame that in your mind is what? Today, I did not accomplish as much as I wanted to. I will make a list for tomorrow so I can complete all my tasks. Additionally, you try to avoid complaining at all costs. If you are working with a particular difficult client, try to view the experience as a positive challenge rather than a negative situation. Just a little bit of tips today as you consider how to train your mind. And it's not something that you just jumps into the box at you. You have to train yourself to become optimistic. Don't allow your situations or circumstances to define who you are. Having done that, and we've spoken about how do we train our mind to become optimistic, I'm going to share with you the word of the day. Gratefulness helps us return to ourselves, restoring our equilibrium and helping us to see beyond what's broken to the beauty and the wholeness of life. The word and the thought for this, a thought for the day. Gratefulness. Gratefulness helps us return ourselves, restoring our equilibrium, and helping us to see beyond what's broken to the beauty and the wholeness of life. What's your perspective today? How do you consider what's happening with you? Sometimes we just need to stop and just be grateful. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. Thank you for my family. Thank you that I actually have the gift of hearing. I can see, I can smell. Simple things. It restores equilibrium and helps us to see beyond what's broken and the beauty and the wholeness of life. Giving thanks this morning on a Wednesday. We're keeping our eyes on the clock, 17 minutes on to the hour. The morning edition comes up in just a bit. But before we run off to the morning edition, we just want to take a look at the COVID-19 dashboard. And it's always good when you see in the new cases column a 0. So 0 new cases, no new cases at all. Kaput, nothing, nil. We like the sound of that. Total number of active cases is down to 112, because we've seen that we have 12 new recoveries, and the death column, it remains stagnant. Ain't moving to go anywhere. Stay right where you are. And again, we continue to encourage people not to become complacent and throw caution to the wind. That's one thing. Let's stay optimistic. Let's be optimistic. Hey, the pessimist this morning. Hey, 0 today. I bet you we get 100 tomorrow. The optimistic is saying, you know what? I like what we're doing. Let's continue to do it. It's getting better. The pessimist is saying, God, 112 of them sick. Good Lord. What's happening in Grenada? The optimist is saying, 112 recoveries today, yesterday, tomorrow, 24 recoveries, and the caseload is going to reduce. It's all about perception. What's your perception on life this morning? How do you consider it? It's going to be a great day. I think indeed it is going to be a really, 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 really great day. The morning edition comes up in just a bit, just under 2 minutes. That's for you wonderful listeners here in Classic Radio. For those of you that is on television, we send you back to Master Control, where you get a rebroadcast of some of the top stories from last evening. What's the plan for this morning? I'll be back with you on television at around 15 minutes past the hour. This morning, we'll be speaking with a wonderful friend from inside of the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association. They've been on a 2-year hiatus, but they are back and they are in living colors. 15 minutes on to the hour. The morning edition is next, right here on Classic.
Store foods safely in the event of an emergency or disaster. Check expiry dates and store items that are closer to expiration at the front of the cupboard. Protect opened packages of dried items from pests and losing freshness by placing them in containers with lids. Always keep food covered and stored away from cleaning items. A message from the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, with support from the Pan American Health Organization.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 for 18-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Get Rubigas. Get cooking. Rubigas, clean, safe, and reliable LPG is the perfect solution for your commercial and everyday needs. For cooking at home or barbecuing, choose Rubigas LPG cylinders. Available in a variety of sizes from 20 to 100 pound cylinders. Rubigas LPG, clean, safe, reliable. Are you cooking with Rubigas?
Get Rubis, get going.
Frequent shoppers were unable to engage in their normal activities at one of the popular supermarkets in the town of St. George's. Reports of a robbery among roomers surfaced on Tuesday afternoon, which prompted GBN to investigate. Gerard Joseph did the follow-up.
CEO of George F. Huggins, Anya Chow Chung, parent company of Foodland Supermarkets, first refuted reports of a robbery at one of their supermarket branches. She, however, confirmed to GBN News that the abrupt closure of the Market Square branch on Tuesday was as a result of a ruckus created by an irate customer. According to Mrs. Chow Chung, the customer laid complaints of unsanitary-like conditions within and outside of the supermarket and engaged in a quarrel with the management of the supermarket. The CEO admitted to GBN that there is some truth to the complaints and they are working feverishly to address the issues, thus the rationale for the closure. She points to the age of the building and resistance from the tenant to conduct the necessary repairs as factors that have led to the issue. Citing the importance of protecting the livelihoods of employees, Mrs. Chow Chung says the supermarket may be closed on Wednesday to accommodate the repairs. She notes that to avoid such situations in the future, they are working towards moving to a new location. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
The Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union has issued a news release advising customers of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank and the general public that the bank seems intent on creating conditions for a serious industrial struggle before it departs from Grenada. Following the announcement of CIBC FCIB sale to Grenada Cooperative Bank, the union says it wrote seeking to address matters of urgent concern to the workers. These matters include the right of the workers to elect to be transferred to Cooperative Bank or elect to be terminated and receive severance payment. It also includes retroactive overtime payment owed to the workers for being illegally scheduled to work beyond the normal workday. The demand also includes salary increases and other matters related to the collective labor agreement for the period 2019 to 2021. TAU says CIBC FCIB has refused to attend a rescheduled conciliation meeting set by the Labor Commissioner for today. The union says it held a very successful meeting with the workers of the bank, and they have all given their commitment to engage in any necessary action to protect and secure their rights and benefits. GBN News team made efforts to reach a member of FCIBC management on Tuesday afternoon, but were unsuccessful. In other news, people are questioning the cause of death of approximately 15 Grenadians who have died through suspected suicide for 2021. Some say it may be a result of depression or stress or other social issues they find difficult to express. Monday saw another such loss as police confirmed the death of a 29-year-old male from Clogy, St. John.
So what I can confirm at this time is that we are presently looking into the circumstances that led to the death of a 29-year-old resident of Clogy, St. John. It is suspected to be a suicide, and we are still in the preliminary phases of the investigation. And once a conclusion is reached, we will provide an update.
That was Corporal Cordina McLean of the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. The last suspected suicide occurred 3 weeks ago when a 17-year-old male was discovered hanging at his home by a close relative in the parish of St. George. So far for the year, the number of suspected cases has reached double figures, most of which remain under investigation. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, in making his contribution to the resolution to extend the state of emergency, says he believes not enough leaders in Grenada are making their voices heard on vaccination. Dr. Mitchell says to counteract the misinformation being spread while benefiting businesses and productivity, he is urging leaders of all sectors to speak up on the issue. The Prime Minister also made a suggestive call through opposition leader Tobias Clement to the newly elected political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Deacon Mitchell, to make his stance publicly known.
You know, Mr. Speaker, this thing about leadership talk came up in the last parliament, and I sit here and I just smile and I laugh. Because when it was time to lead, especially with this NNP government now, my question is, where were they?
In responding to opposition leader Tobias Clement in what he called weakness in leadership in terms of vaccination, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell had this advice for his colleague MP.
I suggest that he speaks to that leader about his position on vaccination, and that he makes a statement to that effect. That's where I think that is strength. That is strength. You're coming with new leadership, new vision.
Clement had announced his alignment with the National Democratic Congress in August, and during the party's convention on Sunday, Deacon Mitchell was elected political leader.
37 years in this ball game taught me a lot of lessons. Some people have learned some serious lessons about politics. They would learn. They would learn. It might be easy to buy a political party, but it's not easy to buy the people of Grenada cooperative party. Let's get it right. That one difficult. This coming election campaign will be most likely my last. Not most likely, it will be. But it might be the most interesting and fascinating one for the member for St. George's Northwest.
As chairman of the OECS, Dr. Mitchell says, an informed legal opinion on mandating vaccination has already pointed to it not being a legal issue.
And regionally, internationally, every case that goes to court with workers looking at overturning mandatory vaccination has been lost. In other words, there's no issue, no point going to court anywhere and saying that vaccination is illegal and they cannot force you. Mr. Speaker, that is clear.
However, the Prime Minister notes that government believes garnering positive results in terms of vaccination numbers can be achieved without mandating vaccination.
By going to Parliament and mandating people to vaccinate, you get more resistance and less vaccination. You achieve your objective. Now you have power. And the big man can pass laws. But the fella sit down and he said, oh, let him pass the laws. We heard him. And sometimes you get more resistance.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Meanwhile, the state of emergency is now officially being extended, pending the sitting of the Senate scheduled for Thursday and subsequently published in the Gazette. Another 6 months is the time frame which will give witness to a full year in which Grenada undergoes such a period. Here's Gerard Joseph once again with that story.
May 1st, 2022 will be the new date for the state of emergency for Grenada to end. November 20th was the previous deadline under the resolution passed on May 21st, and Leader of Government Business Gregory Bowen expounds that this extension is pivotal to ensuring citizens are protected against COVID-19. According to Bowen, the extension gives legal teeth to the regulations currently in place as the country continues to tackle the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
They will tell you why we should not drop our guards and why we should always be on the lookout. What the world has to offer. What is the trick of this virus? So, Mr. Speaker, without going much into their contribution, I will recommend this motion for approval by the majority of the House of Representatives.
Health Minister Nicholas Steele, addressing the critics of the state of emergency extension, points to 198 deaths and 5,850 recorded cases.
That we understood and still understand that it will find any and every way to enter our borders, as it has done with every single country in the world. There is not a single country with length of quarantine, shortness of quarantine, number of tests, armed forces, GDP per capita, health systems, not a single country.
Still credits the low positivity ratio that is now being witnessed to people and their sacrifice.
We chose to allow and give up some of our constitutional rights because we saw it necessary for the better good. We as a people, we said we would stay home. We would not come out on weekends. We said we would go home. We followed, and therefore we benefited.
However, he cautions against complacency while noting that government expects restrictions to ease once vaccinations continue locally and internationally. Opposition leader Tobias Clement also rose in support of the extension while calling on the nation to become vaccinated.
My contention with these numbers, Mr. Speaker, 5,850, that is what was just reported. It must be more than that. And if you extrapolate the numbers to the percent between 1.5 to 2%, that would take you around 10,000 to 13,000 people with COVID-19.
The resolution, which first tabled the state of emergency extension to end on May 27, 2022, was amended to May 1st, 2022. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
This is a good time to start adjusting your wedding plans or anniversary ceremonies, as government on Tuesday adjusted the Public Health Regulations 2021. The changes also gives a little more inclusion for families preparing to put their loved ones to rest. Chrislina John has the latest update.
This is a good time to start expanding wedding plans or anniversary ceremonies, as government a few hours ago adjusted the Public Health COVID-19 Amendment Regulations 2021. The changes also give a little more inclusion for families preparing to put their loved ones to rest. With the changes now, all businesses, establishments, and offices may commence, continue, or resume their business operations, except the businesses, establishments, and offices, as may be prescribed from time to time by order by the minister. A person may host or attend any event or gathering of any description, hosting no more than 75 persons if the venue can accommodate the number of persons in compliance with the physical distancing protocol in accordance with Regulation 5. A funeral hosting no more than the number of persons that the venue can accommodate in compliance with the physical distancing protocol in Regulation 5, or a wedding hosting no more than the number of persons that the venue can accommodate in compliance with the physical distancing protocol in Regulations 5. The minister may, in consultation with the Chief Medical Officer for the purpose of preventing, protecting against, delaying, or otherwise controlling the incidence of transmission of coronavirus, or facilitating the most appropriate deployment of medical or emergency personnel and resources by order published in the Gazette prohibit or impose requirement or restrictions in relation to the holding of an event or gathering. Christina John, GBN News.
Minister of Health Nicholas Steele impresses that the success of healthcare is difficult to measure, noting that it is easier to measure failure via the deaths and number of cases recorded. Minister Steele was addressing the issue as the extension of the state of emergency to May 1st, 2022 was being debated in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. There were 5,850 lives saved in Grenada, says Minister Steele, after which restrictions were able to be eased and borders reopened as officials have the ability to react and respond to the pandemic.
It's a testimony to the strength of the health team. That's a testimony to the time we took to restrict the travel earlier in the first iteration of this, of doing the unthinkable, of even preventing our own Grenadians from coming home for a while so that we could strengthen our health system, and then allowing. And then allowing more, then easing more, then easing more, then easing more. But then when we get attacked, we know that we can react and we can deal with it. And now we are in a period after that, and let's see how we can move forward. Let's see how we can live with COVID.
Though mourning the loss of loved ones, Minister Steele says the nation can now move forward and enjoy Christmas in relative safety. With unemployment at an all-time high in the country, is part of that reason a lack of interest in doing certain jobs? This is just one of the issues that one pastor brought to the fore as he addressed some societal issues he wants to see addressed.
The children of Israel had a mind to work. Nehemiah chapter 3 verse 6. Many Grenadians do not have a mind to work, especially the young men. All you're lazy.
No stranger to speaking his mind, pastor of the St. George's Baptist Church, Stanford Simon, addressed his congregation on Sunday, tackling issues among the young male population and the role of men in society as leaders. The statement may be considered offensive to some, as he termed young men as simply lazy.
A lot of young men turning homosexuals. A lot of them. And some of you are married, you're covering it with marriage. And some of you mothers are responsible to it, you know. Them children, them boys in the house, all they do is just playing on computer, playing games, doing things. And I'll send them outside to get sheep and I'll go to the pig, give them something to do. Give them a piece of land in the back and tell them they have to make some bed and plant tomato and something to do. Their fingernail nice, and they'll behave like some woman.
He extended his net of criticism to encircle a larger section of the workforce.
Work politics that people want to arrive and walk 8:30 or 8:15 and it's okay. That's not right. When 4:30, especially some of you in the ministry, when 4:30, all you're packing up all your bag and walking. When 3:30, sorry, I wish for 4:30, sorry. When 3:30, all you pack at 3 o'clock, not 3:30, 3 o'clock. You go in there, well, you come tomorrow. Get out the bag and they're ready to go. How will this country progress? How will we develop if we're not willing to work? If we're not willing to put in the hours that we are paid for?
Men had their share of responsibility served to them.
I'm saying that has to change. We too are responsible for where the societies and you men, you're having like a ram goat, woman day, children everywhere. What happens? These young men have no father figures in the home. You are responsible. Every one of us as men, we are responsible for where the societies, we have created the problem in many ways. We're not taking leadership. And when the woman stick up she head and she lead, you're complaining about she leading because if she do it, all of us are dead. We die.
Pastor Simon stressed the importance of parents setting good examples for their children to follow. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Pastor Simon, during that same service on Sunday and broadcast in GBN's News on Monday, tackled the issue of leadership, boldly calling on Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell to find a successor. And now let's take a peek through the GBN ISOR lens. In her address on the occasion of Child Month 2021, Governor General Dame Cecile Lagrenade calls for particular attention to be placed on nurturing children, especially at this critical period. Chrislina John tells us more.
Governor General Dame Cecile Lagrenade officially declared Child Month November 1st, 2021 opened. Celebration of Child Month usually takes place in October. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and increased cases in recent months, had to be moved to November this year. The theme for the 2021 Child Month is Children's Care and Education Matter. Let children grow, glow, and flourish. Dame Cecile said the theme is very appropriate in our present environment as it underscores the constant demand to nurture our children at a time when parents themselves face daunting challenges. Our education system is under considerable strain and our health is threatened by COVID-19 pandemic.
The social and economic impact of the loss of more than one academic year for our youth is yet to be determined, but will most certainly be negative if we, the adults charged with raising our children, do not go the extra mile in terms of our commitment, attitudes, approaches, and teaching methods in an attempt to offset the deleterious effects of this loss of precious and irretrievable learning time.
The Governor General noted effective childcare programs are therefore critical to ensure that children are nurtured and cared for, while enabling parents, particularly women, to take advantage of opportunities for advancement. Grenada has been recognized for the progress made in early childhood education and is one of the leading countries in the OECS in this area of education. Dame Cecile said Grenada has been instrumental in both setting and enforcing standards.
Over the years, Grenada has taken major steps to implement policies and initiatives to support the development and care of children. This reflects recognition of the fact that our children are our most important asset as they represent the future of our nation. Education and learning experiences of children chart the course for their future, beginning at a very early age.
Children, too, she highlighted, do need a psychosocial support which addresses an individual's emotional, social, mental, and spiritual needs. She encourages parents and teachers alike to speak and listen to children. Chrislina John, GBN News.
Air Canada has resumed services to Grenada effective Sunday, the first time in a year. Rena Thomas reports.
Air Canada Flight 1066, a Boeing 737 MAX 8, touched down at 2:55 p.m. Captain John Metropolis and 169 passengers were warmly greeted by Grenada Tourism Authority CEO Petra Roach, Marketing Executive Ria Godwin, and Shania St. Bernard, and the Plus 18 Remedy Silpan Music. The pilot and crew was presented with a coffee table book, Grenada Heritage, a pictorial journey through place and time, and a selection of locally made chocolates. Passengers were gifted tote bags that included a collection of authentic Grenadian goods. To stimulate demand for the twice-weekly flights from Toronto on Sunday and Wednesdays, the GTA has embarked on an aggressive marketing campaign employing traditional digital and social media tactics in the Canadian market with Air Canada and the Travel Syndicate Travel Band. The Air Canada campaign will include, but is not limited to, digital activations on their Facebook page and the Weather Network, as well as a credit of 5,000 aeroplane miles for each passenger booking the destination during the 3-week campaign. GTA CEO Petra Roach said, "Canadians are eager to travel, and we anticipate that there will be a surge in international trips during the winter period, particularly to warm weather destinations."
Today we're here at the Maurice Bishop International Airport welcoming the return of the Air Canada flight from Toronto. We had 169 passengers on board today, and that flight will be coming in both on Wednesdays and Sundays. As you know, the Canadian market is a really important one for us. It's actually the third largest, and we had the largest number of visitors from that market in 2019, where we welcomed almost 18,000, which represented 11% of our overall numbers for that year. So we're really excited about this return.
We therefore need to be visible in the marketplace to take advantage of this pent-up demand and position Grenada as the ideal destination for Canadians seeking an escape from frigid temperatures to holiday in an authentic destination.
We know that this market can bring good, strong economic benefit to the country. We're also engaging in a program to get those older people who are looking for new homes, new winter homes, to come into Grenada. Obviously, they come and stay rather than for the 8 to 9 days, they stay for about 4 to 5 months. And so they're a really important market segment for us to grow. But at the same time, we want to remind our visitors that we have strict protocols that must be adhered to. So always mask up, always sanitize, and maintain your social distancing.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Imagine having the home of your dreams. Imagine investing in that piece of property you can call your own. Imagine finally doing that home improvement project you've always been thinking about. It's time to stop imagining and start doing. Let the GUT Credit Union help you take the first step with fantastic rates, affordable repayments, and reduced legal fees. Make the move. Get better terms on your mortgage. Use your home equity to make those dreams a reality. Act now. There's really no place like home. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Introducing YouTube and TikTok to the Digicel Prime Bundle. Now get 1 gigabyte daily to enjoy more YouTube. Plus 1 gigabyte daily to like more TikTok videos. It's simply more entertainment bundled together. Get a 7-day bundle for $35 in My Digicel. More apps, more data, more fun. Digicel, better together.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements? Or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Foliage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary, Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio. The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You got to tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
All I'm asking is just for a little bit of respect this morning. I don't think anything could be possibly wrong with that. Am I asking too much? Really? Okay, well, I guess maybe I'm asking too much of your respect from you because you probably don't respect yourself. But anyway, I'll leave that conversation right there. It is 17 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. And you want to say welcome back to our viewers on television and have just joined us. And those of you that's joining us via Facebook or YouTube, good morning to you. We say good morning to those that's on the World Wide Web at www.gbn.gd. So most of us, if you grew up around the tongue of St. George, you went to school in Tongue, you used to being around DuPont Street, hanging around, I think most of us knew of the Grenada Parenthood Association. Some of us, we probably knew, we may have heard about it for all the wrong reasons. And we're not going to get into that. Yeah. I know some fellas that went to Wesley College are working in GBN. They know of it for all the wrong reasons. God forbid while they went there in their teenage years. But they went there. But certainly, they have been on a 2-year hiatus. But all things being equal, they're back, and we want to let you know that the Grenada Parenthood Association, they're back. Their doors were closed for the last 2 years, but I know that for Lady Marva Primus Joseph, she's happy to tell Grenada that they're back and they're in living colors, and she's joining me this morning. Good morning. How are you, my dear lady?
Good morning, Mr. Cadore, and good morning to your listening and viewing audience.
Well,
I'm much elated to be here. So yes, I'm very happy.
I can imagine that you are. The Grenada Parenthood Association, for most, you probably heard about it, but let's assume that nobody knows about it. Tell me about your organization. What do you do?
Grenada Planned Parenthood Association, I refer to it as GPPA. It was founded in 1964, over 50 years going. So it's an organization that is well known in the Caribbean because it's one of the first family planning association that was established. So it's interesting Grenada was leading in that until the Caribbean Family Planning affiliation was based in Grenada first, and then it moved to other islands, and eventually now is in Antigua. So that's one of our organizations that is more or less giving us guidance. Then we have the International Planned Parenthood Federation, the IPPF. That organization is very instrumental over the years in offering funding for the Grenada Planned Parenthood Association because it's a non-profit organization. So basic background as to the history of GPPA.
Tell us now about the services and the daily function.
Okay, generally these three objectives is what GPPA is about. One, to provide the knowledge and the means to choose whether, when, and how many children one would like to have, a couple or less. And two, to improve the health and well-being of men, women, and children. And the final one is to work towards a balance between human numbers, needs, and Grenada's natural resources.
No, so that's what's on the paper. Let's not talk about the paper. So I walk through your doors on any given day. What sort of services would you render? You talk about Planned Parenthood. What exactly is that? Are you trying to tell me how many children to have or not to have, or are you just going to help guide me in the process?
The latter, Cadore, I will help guide you. Be it a single person, be it a couple, I'll help guide that. With GPPA will guide that process. It gives you the means to, okay, I would like to have a child, but I'm not ready yet. So what can I use? There are a wide variety of contraceptives, such as condoms, male and female condoms. You also have injectables such as the depot injection, which is you take it every 3 months. We're looking to bring in next year. You will have the injection that you can take every month if you choose, or let's say you're getting married and you don't want to have your menses, you could have a 1 month shot, and then your period will come back the next month. You could also have the option to have the 2 month injectables. So we really don't want to just look at only 3 months option. We want to give women a wider range of option. You can also be able to take the pill if you choose to have that means, and we'll be looking to bring in the implants soon. So we want to cater for all the wide conception of persons to giving them more option of contraceptive. Also, when you come into our doors, we want to look at the overall well-being of the person, not just about the sexual and reproductive health. So you can have your PAPS test, you can have VIA, you can also have your vital signs taken, such as your temperature, pulse, respiration, your weight, your blood pressure, and also we do oxygen saturation. So due to COVID, a lot of persons was kind of concerned if their lungs are well having enough oxygen, and it's a simple tool. We could check that for you. Also, you could have urine tests, so you can see if there's any infection with your glucose, your blood glucose tested. You could also have, if you're concerned, I think I missed my period, you have pregnancy tests available, so you know what you have to do, and also screening for STIs, sexually transmitted infections. So with a short breath, I want to just add additional things that we are looking at. Next year, we are going to come in with antenatal and postnatal services. So you can come to GPPA, you found out you're pregnant, you can come there and have those checks until you are ready to deliver, then you'll go to the place where you need to deliver. And we'll also have postnatal counseling. For example, unfortunately, some women, don't have a successful pregnancy, and the loss is great to the couple, the family, and it's a rough time. So we will have postnatal counseling, especially for those who had lost, which is a very important aspect, I think, really needed in Grenada. So basically, education and general counseling is available.
Education, general counseling, and this is a free service.
It is not. Some of the services are free. we'll have services in bundle packages. So you come in, you'll get education free, you will get your weight check free, but the other services you will have to pay a very reasonable price for those services because GPPA is a non-profit, so it's not the cost is that we're looking to make a profit. We just want to make sure the services is available. And I need to add, we have gender-based violence victim services. So someone going through that, they can come to GPPA and they will get the services to meet their needs.
Well, we're realizing, Lady Joseph, that you've expanded your suite of offering, I guess, to make accommodations for our evolving society.
Definitely.
Somebody's asking, would your Grenville branch, is it going to be reopened or has it been reopened?
The Grenville branch was temporarily closed initially because we are trying to make sure that the one in St. George's is properly up and running, and we will futuristic expand the Grenville as things improve. So in the meantime, we are considering to do some outreach programs for the rural areas such as Grenville and St. David's in the next 2 months. So we'll be coming. So it's not a matter that we close because we don't want to give them the service. In regards to operational costs and everything, we start in with St. George's and then expand.
I remember years ago, Lady Joseph, there was this, help me if I'm wrong, there was a stigma attached to the Planned Parenthood Association where many thought that you encouraged and promoted young people to get involved in sex at too much of an early age.
Cadore, I am a health professional of background, right? And I am very open to things. In Grenada, the legal age of consent is 16 years. So a 16-year-old could say, I want to have sex, and what do we do? Not have them to get access to the information that they would need. So if they do decide to go ahead to have sex, they will be making a well-informed decision, and they will be protecting themselves from unwanted pregnancy, from STIs. So we need to have that conversation with our children, and don't think that they don't know more than we think. The internet is there, so if they're able to come in a safe environment where the confidentiality, where the services will be treated with no judgment, why not come to the GPPA and have that discussion? I am thinking about having sex. What can I do? What shouldn't I do? I think we need to have that conversation with our children because the age of consent is 16. So once they're able to give that consent, they should be empowered with the information, the knowledge, and the how and when and not, so they can be preventing unwanted pregnancy. Because it's sad, we as a society, not everybody, we will say, don't talk to the child about sex and contraceptive. However, when they do get pregnant or end up with an STI, we treat them in a very unfortunate way, I would say. And it's very unfortunate. We need to embrace our youth, talk to them at different levels. You talk to them to the level that they will understand. As they develop, you improve, you bring the conversation to a way that they will understand. So the schools have a very important role. The parents, the church, so generally, we all have a part to play to protect our youth. And, so that means I would say we need to look at it in a different lens and address the issue.
Do you have much of a conflict or clashing of ideas with the church as compared to other NGOs? Because as you would well appreciate, the church in most cases will take a different stance when it comes to the whole conversation of sex before marriage. From your organization's end, you're not here to preach religion. You're just here to deal with the issues as they are.
Most definitely, the GPPA and other organizations, we work in collaboration. We don't work in isolation. We have Brainchap, we have the Ministry of Health, Ministry of all those organizations. We work together to address issues. So no longer that when you hear GPPA, you should just hear, oh, it's a place that encourages youths to have sex. No, that's not what it is, and it needs to be looked at in a more objective manner, and let's face the reality. We cannot leave our children exposed to the wild, in the wildness, because they will look for information. They are curious minds,
right.
And they feel, and they want to act to their feelings. So I don't want to encourage that kind of view. Persons need to look at it in a more open mind and see that this is an organization that are here for only preventative, helping persons to space, to time when they want to do it. Look at the economic situation. Look at what COVID, bring to the floor. I would love to, as a woman, to have something that, I would not like to have a child in this time. I'm not working. That decision.
Right.
The couple can come, or the woman, the body is theirs. They can come.
The body is theirs. And I guess it helps add to the economic situation. That's something there are individuals out there that need some help, because the whole conversation of having a child is not just about, listen, I'm going to go get pregnant. It goes way beyond that.
Definitely, because one decide I would like to have a child, or one may say I don't want any children. That too is fine. So with judgment, she's 40, she ain't have a child yet. That's an individual decision. So you decide you want to have a child. Okay, I would like to do it this time. What can I do to make sure that when I do get pregnant, that I'm free of all infections? I have, the environment is conducive in terms economically. How do I provide in terms? We have to plan ahead, because education is expensive, is a way out of poverty. So if you plan and look at the cost of schooling, if you decide to go private or not,
right.
Look at the education university-wise. You have to plan it, see how much you can afford and how much you could care, and give them enough time so you could care for that child the best way possible to produce very healthy citizens for Grenada.
29 minutes onto the hour in the morning time, onto the hour of 8 o'clock. Good morning to Peter Mitchell and others that's locked in via I'm looking at Peter. Peter is on Facebook. Good morning to you and the rest of the team. Do you get the sense that that was one of the challenged, the areas that probably, that you said how much years you have been around? More than 50.
Yes, definitely.
More than 50. Some of us are asking maybe if the aggression that you're taking now is to make up maybe for possible some of the failures in the past that you've, and I know in the years past you've had individuals who probably would have said, if that information was available to me, I probably, instead of having a child at 18, I was going to probably choose to become pregnant at 25. Maybe I would have considered going to university first. These are conversations that is okay to have within our current construct in society, is it?
Most definitely. End of the day, a pregnancy, especially for a woman's body, you should give yourself some spacing for the child, the sake of the child, and also for your body to recuperate and to make sure that when you do decide that it's in good you're ready to make that, and you're healthy and you will have healthy outcomes. So we have to learn from the past, and I believe in doing a lot of education, giving personal information. So we have to utilize all the different media, the different means. We may not have, if you have a reading population, you have to know your population, know what best medium to get. So for the youths, they may not listen to the general radio, they may go to Instagram, Facebook. You have to go to the different population you really want to target. But the information is needed generally for the family. So you look at it in different aspects. So I believe with information and bringing it that way that you can understand, persons will make the right decision.
We seem, Marva, to live in a highly sexually charged society. Everything has a sexual connotation. To sell a beer, it has to be a woman nearly, and that's a conversation that we can. But what is, in your estimation, as a professional, is in the ideal age to start the conversation? And I wouldn't say it the way my grandparents used to say it years ago, to talk about the birds and the bees. No. To introduce the conversation of sexual intercourse to a child. What is that ideal age?
Okay, I believe once the child I want to take it even a little further. One, we need to ensure that children are taught the names of the body parts, the correct name.
Correct.
And the whys and the don'ts about persons, because if you have a child and someone trying to initiate little things, they may not know, and they should know that this is wrong, this is right. So you have that conversation very early. You call that part, this is the name of the anatomy, this is the name. Don't call it names that people could use to take advantage of the child. And when the child trying to communicate to you, you're thinking they're talking about sweetie, really and truly, literally. It's not sweetie, it's the name how you respond. So you catch up. So as the child develops, getting into the changes of getting the period or the secondary changes, it's a good time to talk about it, because they will have this feeling, hormones and the changes, and they may want to react to it. So how can they cope with it? And then the age of sex consent is 16. So you should have that conversation as soon as they fully understand what's happening to their body and how they should react. So with the information that they have, they may choose not to delay having sex, which is, what you would really want, because sex is not just having just for pleasure. The outcome can be various. So you want to make sure that the child knows the do's and the don'ts, and if they choose to go ahead, they do it in a very safe way, and to prevent them from STIs and pregnancy, because some STIs can have lasting effect to prevent you further when you decide you want to have a child. You can't, because of past history with STIs. And as women, particularly women, we may have gonorrhea or those things, and we do not know, because of how our body, the reproductive organ is designed, that we may miss it, and it go further up and end up blocking your tubes and cause problems in the future. So really and truly, we need to have that conversation. Don't try to block it. It doesn't make sense. The cat is out of the bag, because you do have the World Wide Web, and you want to make sure persons have well-informed decisions, give information so they make informed decisions.
The conversation regarding STIs, they even become, because of the taboo when it comes to sex, persons are hesitant to even tell a professional, this is what's happening to me. That's a culture you saying has to change, not in the sense that we're promoting sexual promiscuity, but giving people an appreciation for, hello, this is what's happening out there. Information is power.
The thing is, we can't take away the culture from the people, but what we can do is to give information. Because if you have to be comfortable with your body to talk about, if your hand is hurting you and you say, my hand is hurting, I need to check it out. But once you're talking about the reproductive organs, it's a kind of taboo, a culture, so you don't want to talk about it, or because we think it's so private. And if you go check from the school or primary school, you go to the classroom to do a presentation. At the moment you say vagina, the whole reaction of the children, so it shows that it's a cultural something that we need to not make persons feel that area is so extra special compared to other parts. It needs to be cared for. You need to know how to deal with it. But it's all about the holistic person. So reproductive health is a right. It is a right.
And the conversation of reproductive health, that many, very often, parents tend to talk to more openly. They speak to their girls about sexual responsibility. That conversation should not be limited to just the girls, but both boys. We grew up in a society where you hear, even parents are saying they cock outside, and they're telling the neighbors they cock outside, so you should tie the hen. That's a culture that has to change, where both male and females, they should be taught sexual responsibility.
Most definitely. It takes a male and a female to make a pregnancy. So each of them, male or female, they need to be taught. The guy, as much as you say, they can get STIs, and so they need to care for themselves and be able to, when they come out to be healthy persons, so when they decide to have children, the quality of their sperm, everything. We cannot do it by girls alone. We have to address this thing holistically. And as I say, every sector of society have a responsibility. And let's not put the taboo. We're not talking about sex. Yes, sex sells. because that's why the advertisement is what it is. But why we're not talking about what sells? In literally what I'm referring to. Our body, we need to take care of it. It's not separate from any part. It is attached to us, and we need to how to care for it, how to prevent and take charge, empowering oneself. So when they make that decision, they know this is a decision I make. One thing I want to touch on regarding to the STIs, it is a wrong concept to go and take gross looking images of persons, of showing to scare them, to say, if you're going to have sex, this is how you would look if you have syphilis, this is how you would look if you have gonorrhea. It is not a correct way, because what will happen when you teach a child that way, when they're looking to see the partner have that looking way to assume, oh, they have syphilis or not. No, the reproductive organ can look normal, but it do have an STI. So you do not want to give them a false assurance that when they look at the reproductive part, oh, it's healthy, so I can go without having a condom. You don't judge it like that, because the organisms might be right there, but in the late stage of the STIs, these organs look like that. So it's something we need to make sure that persons understand. Don't judge by surface. You have to get a microscope. You have to get the testing to see the organism. So don't judge to say, oh, she look healthy. If that area look healthy, I can go without protecting myself.
And one of the things that you and I just want, of course, just for you to re-emphasize as we wrap today's conversation, we can always have this, have other sessions, so that your actions as taken, whether out of knowledge or not, in the earliest stage of your life, it can severely hamper decisions you would like to make, or even those you probably may not even realize later on in your life. So the onus is on individuals to, from a very early age, take responsibility for your actions. Correct?
Most definitely, I couldn't agree with you more. And this brings the point where we cannot wait until the person reaches an adult to have that conversation. Once they have the capacity to understand the body and how it works, take the opportunity to address those issues. When they ask the question, don't brush them off. Answer it truthfully, because you want them to really come to you again, because you didn't trust. You didn't make them feel like they can't trust you. So we need to have that conversation. And yes, we want to have healthy individuals, and Grenada need to have productive persons. So you have healthy persons physically, mentally, and spiritually. What do you want else? That's what you want. So we cannot box certain things and don't talk about that. The internet will talk for us, and we want to make sure anybody can put anything on the internet. Make sure they get it from the parents or teachers or GPPA persons who know, the doctors. Talk to them early. Prevention is key.
And I always say the problem is not, I guess, parents will decide what is the appropriate age to start the conversation based on the child's maturity. But one thing I do believe in is that you have to start from very early age teaching your children their body parts. How they were born. You don't tell me they will drop from plane. I don't even think children bind. A 10-year-old not even bind that anymore. About the bird, the stroke was passing and they dropped them. Please, they're not going to buy that. But I think it's important that we start the conversation quite early. I often said sex is not the problem in society. It's the way we treat with sex, and let our young people know that sex has its place and time. You're in school. My mother used to always say, boys, books, and bed don't mix. So sex is not the problem. Boys is not the problem. There's a time and a place for everything under the sun. That's where we are going to leave the conversation right now for this morning, Lady Joseph. Indeed, it was a pleasure. Looking forward to having this and other lengthy conversations with you on the platform. Have yourself a great one.
Thank you, and I just want to leave a number so persons who would like to reach GPPA is 440-3341. So you can feel free to reach out to us.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to your listeners.
All the best to you. 17 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. We getting ready to link up with the Just Cool gang as we get ready for Traffic Cam for today, Wednesday.
state-of-the-art Ultratech gasoline and diesel. Available only at Rubis stations.
Spare your pocket, spare the earth. Always act when left, you come first. Save energy, save a time. We choose your wattage and we choose your time. When you use appliances, make sure you buy energy efficient every time. Spare your pocket, spare the earth. Always act when left, you come first. Spare your pocket, spare the earth. Always act when left, you come first.
Join up with Junior Checkley, the man that travels by night and appears by day. I'm not sure if he's nocturnal. He left and he's up now on the Paradise Bridge. We're getting ready for traffic cam, Junior. Checks, what can you tell us? What's the traffic like up your side?
Well, the traffic light, as you know, Joseph, Paradise Bridge is the bridge that has the only working traffic light on the island.
When you say
so at the moment,
that's you have empirical data to prove that, or that's just your own thoughts and theory. Leave that. No response. No response.
From traveling around, Joseph.
Leave that alone.
So we are at the Paradise Bridge, where the light has turned green, as vehicular traffic travel from the Paradise area, from Pearls, as they head into Grenville and beyond.
What can you tell us about the flow? Because I know that bridge, based on where it's located, it always seemed to create a bottleneck. Traffic coming from the Grenville area, whether they're going to Simone's, that Paradise Bridge area generally tends to be a high-intensity traffic point. What's happening this morning?
Traffic point, but it's a smooth flow of traffic because motorists are observing that there's a light. So no way vehicle, before the light, vehicle used to stuck in the middle and it's who talk louder, have to back down and so, but now there's a smooth flow of traffic on the Paradise Bridge this morning.
What can you tell us? I mean, school, for today, Wednesday, I know the secondary school, the fifth formers, they make their way back to school this morning. What can you tell us about who's traveling this morning, the traveling public? Seen much of any impressions of school children on the road?
No school children on the road.
No school children on the road.
No school children on the road. And I haven't seen any in the buses as yet. Oh, I see one. One school child is beaten by here.
What about pedestrian activities? Because very often there is a concern as to how people, and even pedestrians, they treat with the traffic and traffic lights, where people don't seem to want to recognize. You get in the sense that people are observing the traffic light as it is, but you make the point that a lot of Grenadians tend to appreciate the traditional way of navigating across the country, where we toot our horns, we flash a light, and we indicate to each other who goes and who comes. Any issues with that? Are people adhering and recognizing and adhering to the fact that there's a traffic light there? We need to obey.
People are adhering to it. The drivers are adhering and they're obeying the traffic light. When it's red, they stop. When it's green, they go.
Let's talk about the way you are Paradise Bridge. Let's talk about the flow, because the traffic comes from different directions. So give me some appreciation as to where the directions that the traffic flows from.
Traffic comes from Pearls. We are looking at the Pearls, the junction to go into Pearls or Simone. Traffic coming from Simone. Also, traffic comes from Dunfermline, come out from Lafayette, Paraclete area, and also traffic come out from Lakabeke.
So identify for me this. Okay, so stop where you are. Let's at least try to educate the people this morning. So for the purpose of those that's on television, that street, that road that's directly behind you, that's where?
The road that I'm seeing now, you're looking at those on Facebook. The road that I'm looking at now, that's Lakabeke.
That's Lakabeke. Well, I'm not sure if you're looking at it because it's actually behind you. So it's not the one that you're looking at. The one that's behind you. I've seen it behind you. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so tell me.
That's Pearls.
So that's the road. That's the road to Pearls.
That leads you out of Pearls, yes, and Simon.
Okay, so let's keep panning.
And then we have Paradise Main Road that leads from Paradise, the Paraclete area, coming from Dunfermline, from Sauters. They need to use this road to get into Grenville.
And let's see what's happening. Can you give me a pan as to what's happening directly on the bridge itself? Because the traffic seems quite light this morning.
Yes, it's quite light this morning.
Okay, cool. Is that traditionally the volume of traffic or the reasons why it is?
On the Paradise Bridge, no, that's not. I have seen a lot of traffic around this time before on the Paradise Bridge. Most likely because a lot of people maybe home still are not, school is not fully open. So there's not much traffic. You can notice it because usually around between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Rush hour.
A lot of traffic here on the Paradise Bridge.
Peter Mitchell says, I wonder how Peter Mitchell know. What part of Peter Mitchell knows about the cow pen? Which of the road takes us to the cow pen?
You can follow this road right here. Drive up to Lakabeke and you can get to the cow pen, or you can drive further up and you turn left into Paradise, drive up the Paradise stretch, then you go on to Lafayette, and maybe about 2 or so miles, you turn left and you can find the cow pen.
You seem to know a lot about the cow pen. You probably seem to have visited there a few times. You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. You do not have to answer. So, folks, what we're looking at now is the flow.
I heard a lot about the cow pen. I haven't been there. I heard a lot about it.
Yeah, that's what you want me to believe on a Wednesday morning. I've got too old for that. Yeah, you've heard. Yeah, I know. A lot of us, we've heard about the devil as well. We should hear more about Jesus and less of the devil. Folks, so what we're looking at now is the flow of traffic. We're looking at on the direct shot of the bridge, that is. So that's the flow of traffic on the Paradise Bridge. Just a nice, steady, continuous flow. Not much in the way of obstacles or delays as it is. So certainly for those of you may try to make your way down to St. George, certainly you can appreciate there is a constant flow. And those of you that's probably heading into, let's say, Lafayette, Paradise area, maybe heading on to Simone's, just continue to due care and attention, Junior. You would always agree it's always the watchword for all drivers on the nation's roads.
Yes,
due care and attention.
Yes, because you're driving for yourself, you're driving for pedestrians, you're driving for other drivers, and also for your passengers.
Well, of course, they are your lifeblood, and they are the most important part of what you do. Look out for keep your passengers safe. Thanks a lot, Junior. All the best to you, comrade.
Have a wonderful day, and to all the viewers of GBN TV and GBN Radio, enjoy your Wednesday. And remember, you're checking Just School for all your live streaming and video recording of funeral services all over Grenada. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Okay, comrade. All the best to you. That's JC here talking to JMC, the crew from Just School Media. Folks, you get another time. It is almost time for us to wrap, but it is just about 8 minutes onto the hour of 8 o'clock. By the way of information, the plan for today, at the top of the hour, we joined the BBC for a bulletin of news. At 9 to the point, we will be having one of our health officials, Dr. Mariana Charles. She will join us. Continuing our programming for the rest of the day, there is post-cabinet briefing today. Given why it is true, normally on a Tuesday, because it was deferred from yesterday because of the special sitting of the House of Representatives. Postcab takes place today. That happens. So that's the plan for today. Certainly we want to encourage you as you go through the day, reminding you that COVID-19 is an ever-present threat. Continue to do just what you do. And again, I want to say thanks to those of you that's on the different social media platforms, the likes of Peter Mitchell and the others, wherever that you logged in from. It's always a pleasure being here with you on the GBN. Thanks for being part of the network. 5 minutes on to the hour. This is where we bring the curtains down on today's episode of Good morning, Grenada. Again, encouraging you to take responsibility. The Planned Parenthood Association, they're open. Let's go out there, make use of the services. Not necessarily because you do have crazy ideas, but because you want to take responsibility for your action. And I think as parents, we need to encourage our children. Many of our children, they get involved in sexual activities, not necessarily because they figure they want to do it, It's because it's almost like an experimental phase of their life. You don't tell them about it, somebody else will. But the problem is that they wouldn't say it with any measure of concern as to their future. They were just going to get them encouraged. Have that conversation with them. It's not about the birds and the bees. It's about sex. And I know some individuals they study at the taboo about it. But folks, it is what it is. The conversation must be had. Let's do this. Have a great one. Have a great day. JC loves you. I'm out of here.